we're going to do a series of podcasts on the psychology and sociology of Entourage. It's one of our, favorite series, and even though it's, been a while, it's still more, I think it's more relevant today than it was when it was
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and some great characters. The first one I wanted to go into is the relationship between Ari and Andrew.
Yeah, well, before we go into it, yeah, Entourage is, these writers are great writers. It's Doug Ellen, but, he enlists a few other guys to come in and do some writing. Even Turtle comes in, and I think he writes an episode or two towards the end. But all the shows are written in a way that to really know what's going on in the subtext and what's going on in this culture, you've had to be behind the veil, or peek behind the veil, or live on the other side of that veil for some point where you can see what the subtext is for these characters, and why I think Entourage needs to be revisited as a show, even after the Me Too movement and several disasters that's happened. Like you have, what's his name, Timothy Busfield. Yeah. That was a disaster. I don't see how that is any fault of the series of Entourage, though.
Yeah.
So I think it should be revisited. But back to Ari and Andrew Klein.
Yeah, so Ari is the agent. He's got his big agency that he's now running, and Andrew is a longtime friend that was running a small agency in the Valley.
Yeah.
And Ari decides to help him out at the end of season 5 and purchase Andrew's agency and bring him into the fold of Miller Gold. And I think one of the big things that really kind of kicks off the relationship is Barbara really does not want Andrew to join. The business is good, but her opinion of Andrew himself is very low.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that she didn't want him to join. I don't think she believed he could make it, which obviously he turns out to be right. Because remember, when Ari introduces the idea of Andrew in the cab, after him and Andrew has a few drinks, and then he calls Barb up because he's got to clear it with her. And Barb's excited about the little agency because the agency itself is doing really well. And then she asks who's running it, and he says Andrew Klein. She's like, no go, he's a loser.
Yeah.
And then he proves her right at the very first meeting.
Yeah, she asks a very basic question that you would expect in any kind of interview, especially for that position, and he completely fumbles.
And I the reason why I think this is a good one to start with is because what the most important thing to understand about Ari and Andrew is what Ari's fatal flaw is in this particular case. And sometimes it can be the fatal flaw of a lot of guys, especially if you have an A-type personality. Mm-hmm. And that's loyalty. And the reason why I say as an A-type personality, loyalty can be your fatal flaw because you have such a high sense of agency and you barrel your way through so many things to get things done that knowing that you have a very strong sense of loyalty, sometimes that's the only thing that can keep you grounded when you're an A-type personality. Mm-hmm. And then that sense of loyalty in Ari's particular case turns into his fatal flaw when it comes to Andrew. Mm-hmm. And I think especially for A-type personalities, this is something to be aware of. At that because it is a very thin line where loyalty is a attribute and a virtue, and then it becomes a fatal flaw. and it sneaks past Ari in such a way he didn't even see it when it crossed the line, and you don't really want to see it.
Right.
Because as a A-type personality, you are always going to err on the side of caution, which means that I have to remain loyal. Because it is your instinct to cut people the fuck off.
Right.
And so that loyalty can become kryptonite, because I'm not saying that he should have cut Andrew off when Barb shot him down. He went up there. Remember, he goes up to Barb's Women of the Year luncheon, and he makes a debacle of that. I'm not saying he should have cut Andrew off at that point, but I think he should have cut Andrew off when Andrew's wife had to come to the job.
I disagree. I think it should have been sooner than that. I think when he interrupted the lunch with Lizzie and David Schwimmer.
No, you're right.
That's when you know it's interfering with work, and it's got to be cut.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. I forgot about that. That happened first, because now you can see what Andrew has is a really deep character flaw. Because remember, they're sitting there during the luncheon. David Schwimmer and Lizzie are hitting it off pretty well. David Schwimmer, he shuts the shit down. He wants to go to lunch, and Lizzie's gonna close the deal. And David is going to close the deal. Andrew comes up there and busts up the luncheon.
Right.
You see, and when Ari got that call from David Schwimmer, now the writers can't cut it off now because it's theater. We want to let this play out. It's their writing. They want to let this drama. So they want to let this play out until the wheels come off the wagon.
Yeah.
Because it makes for a great show. Now, in real life, though, Ari should have cut Andrew the fuck off right there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that revealed a fatal flaw.
Yeah.
And Ari should have been able to see that it was no longer about loyalty. Because had he cut him off there, this guy wasn't ready.
Oh, yeah.
For the big leagues.
Yeah, it was becoming about business because it's starting to affect potential money coming into the business.
Yeah, well, he was still making good money. But the most important part of the thing is Andrew becomes the first domino that leads to Bobby Flav standing in Ari's kitchen. Now, you got to look at these things like they're dominoes, because we always look at things in life or in, relationships or whatever, in government and politics, etc. We always look at the last domino. But in order to stay ahead of curves, you have to know where the first domino falls. And that first domino was the David Schwimmer luncheon that leads to Bobby Flav. Now there's a jump, because remember, Ari has to fire Lizzie, and that opens up the door for the devil to come back in, which was Amanda.
Yeah,
she comes back in and she ups the stakes, but Lizzie doesn't want to follow through on that. But the damage is done.
Yeah,
because Amanda sent Lizzie in there with the recording device. After Lizzie had asked Ari multiple times, don't talk to me like that, Ari.
Don't talk to me like that, and passing her over for a promotion he maintained she wasn't ready for it, but still.
Well, it's in war, you have right and righter. Lizzie was ready, she was right, and Ari was also right. Because could she keep the job? Could she do her job? Could she run the television department? Absolutely. She could run it better than Andrew did. But that scar of putting her in that position too soon after she fucked Andrew is only going to look like now she fucked Ari for that spot.
Right.
Even though Ari don't get down like that, because remember what he says when he called him in his office. He's like, listen, I'm a little old-fashioned here. So this just ain't going to work for me. I got to let y'all go.
Yeah. And he said it perfectly. He's like, it's affecting my perception of how you do your job. He said that to
Lizzie, and she said that's not fair, but that's life.
Yeah.
Perception sometimes is everything.
And had she gotten that head job, it would have followed her everywhere because Andrew's wife made such a scene. Yeah. There was no way it wasn't all around the office that was going on. And
it's going to just look like now Lizzie and Ari did something. So even if he wanted to give her the spot, he couldn't give it to her.
Yeah.
And so, when they were standing in the one restaurant, and after she handed over the recordings to Ari, and she still needed Ari's help to get a job somewhere, and Ari's like, he's got her, he's gonna do whatever, but he brings her back there. It looks like a show of weakness that can bubble up in different employees thinking that they can bully Ari. You know what I'm saying? Or they can leverage things against him.
Yeah.
So he, it's high stakes. But I mean, the lesson of it is that without a show like Entourage on the air, because we're too scared to make another show like Entourage and put it on the air to address a lot of cultural and social dynamics that only Entourage was addressing.
Right.
And now guys have completely lost their way, where you had a show that not all guys are going to be able to relate to Entourage because they don't know what it's like to live life at the pinnacle. They don't know what it is to go everywhere you go. You have options. You have access. Finances is not an issue. So, but in order to communicate clearly to guys that are below that don't necessarily understand that lifestyle or how things are, go, and for the women as well, a show like that can be a North Star to things you should and shouldn't do, and where you should draw the line, and how to move with integrity and honor. That's why I want to go into this show, because every character on the show is flawed, but every character on the show has definite virtuous qualities.
Yeah.
Like Drama in that same series with Ari and Lizzie and Andrew falling to pieces over a 26-year-old. At this exact same time, the Beeline story is Drama is holding the line because he thinks Dan Coakley is banging Jamie, which is dating Turtle at the time.
Yeah.
Now, we know Drama's a hot mess.
He's his own worst enemy.
He's his own worst enemy. If it's a way to fuck it up, he's going to fuck it up. But if you watch Drama closely, when it comes to his boys, Drama gets it right every time in terms of being integral to to the squad.
And even like when everyone's like down and out or being negative, he's got like the one shining piece of advice that's like the last person you'd expect good advice from. Yeah,
well, I don't know if it's when everybody's down and out. I think when, Drama does have a certain amount of experience that Vinny and the rest of the guys don't have. And so Drama's able to reach into that bag of experience. Like the one time when he tells Vinny, when Vinny's shopping around for another agent, and he tells Vinny, like, listen, Ari's a fucking scumbag, but you know what you get with Ari. When it comes to agents, Ari's best to show.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But that's when Vinny was ready to jump ship.
Mm-hmm.
So drama does, at times he knows how to be a North Star, but he always drops the weight on his own foot, like he does with Dan Coakley and Jamie Sigler, Jamie Lynn Sigler, the Turtles girl. But he couldn't.
He's got all of the right intentions, and just goes about it the wrong way.
Yeah, but back to Andrew, that it's giving you that the way the writers wrote that episode off. It is, the way I see it, is about loyalty, because Drama's loyalty to the squad and to Turtle, he ends up losing his fucking job because Dan writes him off the show.
Well, Dan's like slowly killing him to where he gets himself taken off because he's got to have like acid makeup on. He's just having like this horrendous time.
Well, I mean, he should have never put his hands on Coakley. Yeah. That's first of all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a show, but it does happen. And he should have never did that. But he was being loyal to Turtle.
Yeah.
And it created a disaster for him.
Mm-hmm.
The same way Ari's being loyal to Andrew, and it creates a disaster for him, which all Drama had to do was get out of the way.
Right.
And Jamie wouldn't have fooled around with Coakley. And Ari should have gotten Andrew out the way. And it wouldn't have led all the way to Ari's marriage being in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our first entourage, and kind of breaking it down psychologically and socially. And we'll keep the series going with, all different kind of aspects of the series. Yeah,
it's a lot to unpack with Entourage. I think they should bring it back, especially at a time when you got, there's a statistic now where you've got 4 million men that never leave the house. Oh, wow. I just saw this statistic. Wow. So I don't know how accurate it is, if somebody pulled it out of its ass, but that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to address the problem by discussing Entourage.